Freemasonry is a beautiful system of morality, veiled in allegory and illustrated by symbols. Although its origin is covered with darkness and its history is, to a great extent, obscure, yet we can confidently assert that it is the most ancient society in the world. Its principles are based on pure morality, its doctrines those of patriotism and brotherly love, its sentiments those of exalted benevolence. All that is good and kind and charitable it encourages, and all that is vicious and cruel and oppressive it reprobates. The forms and ceremonies of this institution have come down to us through a succession of ages, and are all designed to impress upon the mind wise and serious truths, and to make men wiser, better, and therefore happier. Masonry possesses great and invaluable privileges, and in order to secure those privileges to worthy men alone, voluntary pledges of fidelity are required of each of its initiates. I assure you there is nothing therein that is incompatible with your civil or religious duties, or with those higher and nobler duties which you owe to God, your country, your neighbor, your family, or yourself. With this assurance, do you still desire to proceed? If the candidate assents, the worshipful master continues. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. The Holy Bible is given us as the rule and guide of our faith and practice, the square to square our conduct, and the compasses to circumscribe our desires and keep our passions within due bounds with all mankind, especially the brethren. As the sun rules the day, and the moon governs the night, so should the worshipful master rule and govern the lodge with equal regularity. Prior to initiation as an entered apprentice, the candidate's assent is required to the following declarations. Do you seriously declare upon your honor that you believe in a supreme being to whom all men are accountable? Do you seriously declare upon your honor that, unbiased by friend and uninfluenced by mercenary motives, you freely and voluntarily offer yourself as a candidate for the mysteries of Freemasonry? Do you seriously declare upon your honor that you are prompted to solicit the privileges of Freemasonry by a favorable opinion conceived of the institution, a desire for knowledge, and a sincere wish to be serviceable to your fellow creatures? Do you seriously declare upon your honor that you will cheerfully conform to all the ancient established customs and usages of the fraternity? The first step taken by a candidate in the lodge shows him that the foundation on which Freemasonry rests is the belief in and acknowledgement of a supreme being, to whom alone he must look for help and protection, and assures him that faith in that supreme being is well-founded, and that he can pursue his course without fear. The following scriptures are administered during the candidate's initial entrance to the lodge. Vouchsafe thine aid, Almighty Father of the universe, to this our present convention, and grant that this candidate for Freemasonry may dedicate and devote his life to thy service, and become a true and faithful brother among us. Endue him with a competency of thy divine wisdom, that by the secrets of this art he may be better enabled to display the beauties of godliness to the honor of thy holy name. Amen. The brethren respond, "So mote it be." Further scriptures delivered as the candidate progresses through the ritual. I will bring the blind by a way that they knew not. I will lead them in paths that they have not known. I will make darkness light before them, and crooked things straight. These things will I do unto them, and not forsake them. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. In all thy way acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. For the Lord shall be thy confidence, and shall keep thy foot from being taken. The three great tenets of a Mason's profession are brotherly love, relief, and truth, which are thus described. Brotherly love. By the exercise of brotherly love, we are taught to regard the whole human species as one family, the high and low, the rich and poor, who, as created by one almighty parent and inhabitants of the same planet, are to aid, support, and protect each other. On this principle, Masonry unites men of every country, sect, and opinion, and is conducive to true friendship among those who might otherwise have remained at a perpetual distance. Relief. To relieve the distressed is a duty incumbent on all men, but particularly on Masons, who are linked together by an indissoluble chain of sincere affection. To soothe the unhappy, to sympathize with their misfortunes, to compassionate their miseries, and to restore peace to their troubled minds is the great aim we have in view. On this basis, we form our friendships and establish our connections. Truth. Truth is a divine attribute and the foundation of every virtue. To be good and true is the first lesson we are taught in Masonry. On this theme we contemplate, and by its dictates endeavor to regulate our conduct. Hence, while influenced by this principle, hypocrisy and deceit are unknown among us. Sincerity and plain dealing distinguish us, and the heart and the tongue join in promoting each other's welfare and rejoicing in each other's prosperity. The four cardinal virtues are fortitude, prudence, temperance, and justice. Fortitude is that noble and steady purpose of the mind whereby we are enabled to undergo any pain, peril, or danger. This virtue is equally distant from rashness and cowardice, and should be deeply impressed upon the mind of every Mason as a safeguard against every illegal attack that may be made, by force or otherwise, to extort from him any of those valuable secrets with which he has been so solemnly entrusted. It was emblematically represented upon his first admittance into the lodge. Prudence teaches us to regulate our lives and actions agreeably to the dictates of reason, and it is that faculty by which we wisely judge and prudently determine all things relative to our present as well as to our future happiness. This virtue should be the characteristic of every Mason, not only for the government of his conduct while in the lodge, but also when abroad in the world. Prudence should be particularly observed in all strange and mixed companies, never to let fall the least word, syllable, letter, or sign, whereby any of the secrets of Freemasonry might become unlawfully known. Temperance is that due restraint upon our affections and passion, which renders the body tame and governable, and frees the mind from the allurements of vice. This virtue should be the constant practice of every Mason, as he is thereby taught to avoid excess, or contracting any licentious or vicious habit, the indulgence of which might lead him to disclose some of those valuable secrets, which he has promised to conceal and never reveal, and which would consequently subject him to the contempt and detestation of all good Masons. Justice is that standard or boundary of right which enables us to render to every man his just due without distinction. This virtue is not only consistent with divine and human laws, but is the very cement and support of civil society. And as justice, in a great measure, constitutes the really good man, so should it be the invariable practice of every Mason never to deviate from the minutest principle thereof. Our ancient brethren, we are told, served their masters with freedom, fervency, and zeal, which are symbolically illustrated by chalk, charcoal, and clay. For there is nothing more free than chalk, which upon the slightest touch leaves a trace. Nothing more fervent than charcoal, which, when properly ignited, melts the most obdurate metals, and nothing more zealous than clay or our Mother Earth. For from the earth we came, and unto the earth we must all inevitably return. The lambskin is an emblem of innocence and is esteemed the peculiar badge of a Mason. When worthily worn, it is more honorable than the Order of the Garter, the Golden Fleece, or any other order that could be conferred, and every Mason ought to wear it with equal pleasure to himself and honor to the fraternity. At the building of King Solomon's Temple, there were 3 classes of workmen, and each class, as a distinctive badge, wore their aprons in a peculiar manner. One class was the Entered Apprentices, of whom there were 70,000, and they, being bearers of burthens, wore their aprons to prevent the soiling of their garments. Thus, you will wear your apron while laboring among us as a speculative Entered Apprentice, ever remembering that while stains upon this garment brought credit rather than disgrace to the ancient Mason, you are to wear it as an emblem of innocence, pure and unspotted before the world. The working tools of an Entered Apprentice Mason are the 24-inch gauge and common gavel. The 24-inch gauge is an instrument made use of by operative Masons to measure and lay out their work. But we, as free and accepted Masons, are taught to make use of it for the more noble and glorious purpose of dividing our time. It being divided into 24 equal parts is emblematical of the 24 hours of the day, which we are taught to divide into 3 parts, whereby we find a part for the service of God and a worthy distressed brother, a part for our usual avocations, and a part for refreshment and sleep. The common gavel is an instrument made use of by operative Masons to break off the rough and superfluous parts of stones, the better to fit them for the builder's use. But we, as free and accepted Masons, are taught to make use of it for the more noble and glorious purpose of divesting our minds and consciences of the vices and superfluities of life, thereby fitting us as living stones for that spiritual building, that house not made with hands, eternal in the heavens.